Milad. Welcome to the show, Amir.
Thank you, Hala. Good morning.
Good morning to you too. First of all, we would like to, if you can give us a brief about the company and the e-scooter ecosystem, especially recently.
So, Tier Mobility is a German company. We are a German startup based from Berlin, and we were founded in 2018. So it's a very young industry. As you said, the shared scooter or the shared bicycle industry is pretty young. And we've been operating here in Dubai since 2 years.
That's nice. Why did you choose Dubai though?
I think there's many reasons. First of all, I'm a big fan of Dubai, and I was one of the first employees in Tier. So when we saw the concept really taking off in Europe, and specifically in Germany and Austria, we thought that Dubai and the United Arab Emirates would be a good starting point because the business environment was very welcoming, as well as the weather. So obviously, when it's cold in Germany, it's good weather here in Dubai. So this was also a possibility for our business to be counter-seasonal in terms of having work all year round. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like there's a huge part of the e-scooters, which is sustainability, and that's a big part of your company as well, right?
Correct. So sustainability is really at the core of our business. If you think about where the business started 4 years ago, we used, you can see here these scooters on this side. We started really with very simple vehicles, and then we have developed them over the years to be a more sustainable company. The usual lifetime was around 6 to 8 months of a standard vehicle in the sharing industry. So we developed our own vehicles, we engineered our own vehicles, we contracted manufacturers to extend the lifetime of our vehicles and to use more recycled and recyclable materials. So this is one part of the sustainability journey. The other part of the sustainability journey is that people today are more aware of their environmental impact. So instead of choosing a car or instead of using a taxi, people think twice today. So they rather choose to walk or take a scooter, for example, take a Tier, to go like short distances, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 kilometers, which saves a car journey and saves the people a lot of time. So this way, for example, in Dubai, over the last 12 months, people traveled around 1.3 million kilometers with our vehicles, and they saved around 18,000 kilograms of CO2. So this is the other part of our sustainability, that we offer people an alternative to traveling with a car.
Wow, that's amazing, and great numbers as well. I used to say before that e-scooters or scooters in general, before even e-scooters, used to be something just we ride for fun and maybe for kids only. But now it's like a total change and a total transformation, even in the mindset.
Yes, correct. So you're very right, Hala. So it gets associated very quickly with entertainment and leisure activities. But in the last 3 years, especially since the pandemic, we have seen really use cases that show us that it's being used by adults, and it is really being used not for leisure or entertainment, as well as leisure and entertainment, but also for simple errands in the morning, for lunch breaks.
Yeah.
People actually, since the pandemic, choose to live very close to the office or don't go to the office at all. So I stay the majority of my day where I live here in my area. And so it's very nice to have an opportunity to go out maybe for a quick lunch instead of taking the car. For example, I would take a bicycle or a scooter. So we have seen a lot of these use cases. And so after pandemic, I would say we really have proven that this industry is here to solve a real problem. And you can see it. Last year, I would say we had around 88 million rides globally, and 15 million out of them were replacing a car trip.
Wow. And also
Yes.
during the pandemic, like it's a solo trip, so it's safe, yani, especially in terms of COVID.
Yes, it's a solo trip, so you don't sit in a crowded bus. And what we make sure on top is our teams sanitize the scooters and bicycles every morning. So we provide always a sanitized vehicle for your use, correct?
That's really great. But how was the pandemic, especially here in Dubai? How did it affect the business?
Obviously, we were all staying at home. So for a few months during the lockdown, there was no business. But what was very encouraging is that regulators and cities here in the Middle East, they sort of quickly reacted. They have seen what other cities in Europe or the US were doing. So entire car lanes were closed for people to use the bicycle because also bus services were stopped.
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, we were actually preparing the next phase, which we are in right now. So we went from no business to a very promising post-pandemic situation.
Yeah. And you're expanding, like recently you're expanding to Bahrain. So can you tell us more about that?
Yes, so we only started in Dubai 2 years ago, and the idea was really to expand throughout the GCC and the Middle East countries. So we expanded from Abu Dhabi to Dubai to Bahrain, Manama, which was our first country outside of the UAE. Mm-hmm. After which we moved to Doha in Qatar. And recently, we started our regional office in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh. And so far, we are active in 6 cities in the GCC, and we have plans to grow even more. Wow. We're looking at bigger countries like Egypt or other countries which are interested in this concept and which have a regulatory framework in which we can operate. Yes.
Can you compare like the different markets, especially that you were in Germany first, but then UAE, but even UAE to Bahrain to Saudi, it's totally different.
Yes, so it is a little bit different because the UAE has a very mixed demographic, people from many different countries. And so this concept was known to a lot of people when they maybe go home to travel or travel abroad. So it wasn't very difficult to introduce and to encourage people to use e-scooters. When you go to Bahrain, when you go to Doha, when you go to Saudi Arabia, for example, Saudi Arabia, a pure market with Saudi nationals, we were actually not sure how quickly and how openly this concept will be adapted. But sort of the human nature is always to try something new. Yeah. The human nature is it's intuitive, and so the people in Saudi, the people in Bahrain, as anyone else, tried it out and they loved it, thankfully. So we're very happy with the development.
That's amazing. And even when you start like moving to the MENA region, and especially the Middle East, UAE, you had an investment of $60 million, I believe, with Mubadala. So that's a big amount, and Mubadala is a big name as well. Can you tell us more about this investment?
Yes, so Mubadala is one of our first big institutional investors. They have invested actually more than 60 million. They have invested a second round into Tier. So I would say, I'm not sure, around about 100 million US dollars into Tier. And this is really a part of the diversification strategy of Mubadala and other investment funds in the region to invest into technology. Exactly. And to invest into green energy, green solutions. So we were part of this investment, and they have also encouraged us to expand to the Middle East and to build a sort of a strong representation in the Middle East.
That's really great. Can you share with us any future plans you have in the pipeline?
Of course. So the future plans of ours is to expand further in the Middle East and also in Asia after sort of Europe has been already established. And we are not a scooter company or bicycle company. We are really a first and last mile solution company. So we want to solve the problem in cities for people to get from A to B. So we will launch a lot more vehicles. You can see we have also electric motorcycles. and we are currently in test phases for electric vehicles. So we'll expand our fleet to have multiple options. And then, for example, in Dubai, in the next few months, we will integrate very closely to the public transport. So where we are working closely with cities to close the gap between your house, the metro station, the taxi stop. So you will see us connecting these dots and being integrated even into their apps and into their offerings, so people can have a connected journey without having to use multiple apps. So this is the future, and we are really excited to be here, and we're really excited that people love to use our service.
That's great. Thank you so much, Amir, for being with us, and best of luck in your company.
Thank you very much, Hala. Thank you.
شكرا لكل الناس اللي تابعتنا. أنا بشوفكم بكرة بنفس الموعد. نهاركم سعيد جميعا.